Now, I want to introduce Laura Maristany of Prospera Insights, who will moderate the panel, Federal Incentives for Your SME. Welcome to the stage, Laura and panelists.
Thank you. Hola, buenas tardes. Yeah, wherever. Casi buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Laura Maristany, soy founder and CEO de Prospera Insights. Como muchos de ustedes, estoy desarrollando mi compañía de consultoría, and I'm very excited to be here today to moderate this really important conversation around federal resources that may be available to entrepreneurs such as yourselves across Puerto Rico to be able to engage on different community development programs and opportunities to empower communities across the island. So I'm going to introduce our speakers today. We have one of our speakers is on the way. I actually think I see him. So I'll start just introducing everybody until he can get to us. And then we are going to have Q&A at the end, towards the end of the session. If you want, you can ask your questions in Spanish, and I'll help translate for the folks that don't speak Spanish on the panel. But yeah, so let me get started. Okay, so our speakers today include Joann H. Joann, originally from Columbia, South Carolina, currently serves as the Chief of the Office of Business Development at the United States Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. With 2 decades of dedicated service at MBDA, she oversees a nationwide network of 75 MBDA business centers and leads programs promoting minority and women-owned businesses, resulting in $8 billion, with a B, in awarded transactions in fiscal year 2020. Ms. Hill has also held positions such as Acting National Field Director for the U.S. Commercial Service at the International Trade Administration and Senior Policy Advisor on ITA's Federal and State Export Promotion Strategic Plan. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Benedict College, an MBA from Emory University's Goizueta Business School, and is a Harvard Kennedy School of Government Senior Executive Fellows Program graduate. So thank you, Ms. Hill, for being here today. Max Trujillo, who I get to call friend, among other things, the most important one, of course, is the State Director for Puerto Rico for Rural Development in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Max brings 2 decades of experience spanning roles in the U.S. Congress, the government of Puerto Rico, and the private sector to his current position as USDA's Rural Development. Previously, he served as a policy and strategic government affairs consultant in Washington, D.C., advising on federal telecommunications, healthcare, and economic development. He also worked as a senior policy advisor for Congresswoman Nidia Velázquez, handling a wide range of Puerto Rico-related issues. Prior roles include advocacy director for AARP in Puerto Rico, deputy advisor to the governor of Puerto Rico, and legislative counsel at the Puerto Rico House of Representatives. Max is a graduate of Marquette University with a law degree from the Inter-American University of Puerto Rico, as well as a Master of Laws in International Legal Studies from American University's Washington College of Law. Welcome, Max. And Josue Rivera, hola Josue.
Buenos días.
Is the District Director for the U.S. Small Business Administration for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. He took office in January 2021. During his tenure, he achieved a remarkable 65% increase in loan activity and the deployment of over $7 billion in SBA's pandemic economic recovery programs. Previously, he served as the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Rural Development State Director for Puerto Rico, where he initiated critical programs and convened industry roundtables. Mr. Rivera a former associate at PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP, holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Puerto Rico at Bayamón. He has received multiple prestigious awards, including the 2020 President Theodore Roosevelt Award and the 2021 Women Economic Forum Women of the Decade Award, and is an Ideas Fellow of the Aspen Institute. So I know that those sound long, but I think it was important for you to get a really good sense of who is on our session today, because beyond the programs that they're directly responsible for, they can be a resource to all of you across understanding programs across the federal government. So thank you all for being here. I'm gonna get us started. I would like to ask Joann to jump in and give us a little bit of a sense of the agency that she works with, MBDA, and how it can potentially be a resource to you.
Thank you so much, and it's an honor and pleasure to be here with you today. MBDA is the only federal agency that is specifically designed to foster the growth and global competitiveness of minority business enterprises. We have a national network of business centers. For those of you that have visited the expo, the Puerto Rico MBDA Business Center is here. It is administered by the Product Association of Puerto Rico, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that of all the partners that we have, they are the longest standing, consistent partner of MBDA throughout the history of the agency for more than 40 years. They've been the administrator of our business center here in Puerto Rico and writ large nationally. We also have other programs and initiatives that I'll talk about. Notably, our other partner here on the island is the Universidad del Sobrado. They just recently won our Capital Readiness Grant, Capital Readiness Program grant. Yay! That's them over there. And then I see Teresa. Is that you? Yes, Teresa Berrios and Sandra from the Business Center. And then we also have, if you've not had a chance to visit the booth, we also have a Minority Serving Institutions grant with the Universidad. And that's breeding the future, breeding future entrepreneurship. One of the inventors are there at the booth, one of the young students. And we look forward to talking more with you about our programs and initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Joann. Max, how about you? Tell us a little bit about some of the, what does your agency work on the island?
Well, thank you very much first for the invite, for the BFest organizers for inviting us to be here. I'm very glad to be here with all my colleagues from the federal agencies, and it's always a pleasure to be with Laura. We all have in common the goal of helping small businesses. We have different mandates, but we coincide and crisscross each other's jurisdictions depending on the program or depending on the target audience. So let me tell you first about USDA rural development. We do a lot, but people don't know it, and you're here to hear it again, all the things that we do. We do housing, which a lot of people know us from. We help people buy a new home or build a new home, and we also help them repair their own home. We also have infrastructure funding. We help build the infrastructure of the rural areas of Puerto Rico and across the country. And thirdly, and for this particular session, most importantly, we help small businesses thrive in rural areas. And for rural development, the important thing that, at least from my perspective, I want to convey to you is that all these things are intertwined. All these things allow for the improvement of the quality of life in rural areas. It's economic prosperity. And if you have a prosperous rural area, you have a prosperous Puerto Rico. So your success in the rural areas is the success of Puerto Rico. So we are here to find a way to help you succeed or build upon your success. So we have several programs, and actually we have over 20 programs in the business division of USDA Rural Development, but I'm gonna focus on a few. We have, I would say, a very interesting program called the Rural Business Development Grant. And it's a grant that the applicant is actually a nonprofit or an entity that can assist small businesses in helping them writing grants, doing a business plan, do marketing plan. I mean, this program is very flexible. It comes once a year as the funding of the new fiscal year comes along, usually either at the end of winter or the start of the spring. So be on the lookout for that. It's very competitive. Puerto Rico has a particular amount of money that can directly award to entities in Puerto Rico, but we also seek out extra funding from the national office when we have a lot of applicants that their investment and their projects are so important that we can try to get extra funding from the national office. For farmers, we have a program called value-added grants. Those are, again, a very interesting project and type of program. So if you're a farmer, rural development cannot help you buy the seed or harvest the agricultural product. But let's say you planted a pineapple. You harvest the pineapple, you pick up the pineapple, you cut off the crown of the pineapple, I can help you there. We are value added. Anything that makes the product change, transform, be something else, is another opportunity for you to make money, we can help you. So if you make from that pineapple candy, pineapple juice, pineapple oil, all the different things that you can do with a pineapple, all those things, I can help you there. I just cannot help you plant it or harvest it.
Including the piña colada?
Depending on what you put in it, but I won't go into that. And lastly, I want to talk about one of the programs that have become very dynamic thanks to the Biden-Harris administration and the Inflation Reduction Act. This program has been transformed and for Puerto Rico for the better, because it allows more businesses to apply. And I'm talking about REAP. REAP is the Rural Energy for America program, which assists small businesses and farmers obtain enough funds to put or to place a renewable energy system or re-energize, reconceptualize their businesses to change into a more efficient output. So you can buy a new refrigerator, you can buy a new air conditioning, you can buy things that make your energy efficiency better. A typical grant can fluctuate from as small as $10,000 to the maximum of $1 million in terms of the size of the project for small businesses, as defined by my colleague here, SBA. But I want to make sure that you understand this program very well, because we just made some announcements on that program today. So the program works for now until the end of September of next year. You get an option of having a 50% grant of the entirety of the loan, up to $1 million. So for example, you have $1 million solar panel project on your business, half of that will become a donation. after the completion of the program. You do have to be a business in a rural area, but if you're a farmer, I can help you everywhere. So, but you have to earn your income at least 50% as a farmer. That's the condition. But small businesses, rural areas of Puerto Rico, which is almost entire island except for San Juan and a few other smaller areas in other towns. But farmers I can help anywhere on the island, Vieques and Culebra included. So why is this so important? Right now, in terms of food security, for example, or access to services, you need solar panels to keep your services going. Our system, our program allows for small businesses, supermarkets to do exactly just that. Right now, a few hours ago, we announced 31 projects that receive awards in Puerto Rico, totaling $6 million in grants. The total output of those projects amounts to $20 million. So together, the private sector and the government have put into the economy $20 million that is going to circulate in the local communities where you are in the rural areas. This is part of the $266 million that were announced yesterday by the Secretary of Agriculture, Vilsack, that's impacting rural areas across the country. So, to summarize, because I know I can feel Laura looking at me, it's like, shut up, you need to go. I want to encourage you to look at our web pages and just Google it. USDA Rural Development Puerto Rico. You'll see the information about REAP, R-E-A-P. This is a great program. I encourage you to apply for it. Thank you very much for your time.
Max. So I'm gonna pass it to Josue in a second, and I wanna preface with something because you're gonna hear big money, amounts of money flowing all over the place, and yet I know that there is a lot of confusion, distrust, right? Like about the process, that there's a long history around, applying for grants and not getting them and all the work that goes into that. And so I wanna make sure that you understand that the people here, their purpose is to help you navigate that complexity. So they're not just here to tell you, hey, there's all this money, go out there and try to figure it out. They're here to be a resource to you. And I wanted to say that before I pass it to Josue, because in particular, I know a lot of the programs that Josue is gonna talk about are resource programs. So, try to open up your mind, because right now there are definitely a lot of dollars flowing, but I don't want to disregard that it is complicated, that you have to have certain processes in place, and to shift a little bit beyond just, yes, there's a lot of money out there, but it's never been accessible to me, and to think and really listen to what these folks are saying around how they can be a resource to you and your business to be able to be successful at getting and aligning to those dollars. So, Josue.
Well, thanks, Laura, and thanks everybody here, our fellow colleagues from Joann to Max and USDA and MBDA, great colleagues of SBA. By a show of hand, who know what is SBA here? Good. That means that I'm doing my job, right? So our team in SBA look for helping businesses start, grow, expand, export, or recover. And I can talk about what we do, but I can talk to you as well as the result of our work. We have put in this economy $7.1 billion in the past 2 years under the President Biden's administration, completing the economic recovery of Puerto Rico. So just to give you an example, and this is pretty sizable and very important for the small businesses, we have saved over 500,000 jobs in Puerto Rico. And that's thanks to your resilience, to your work, to your efforts. We keep people on payroll and keep doors open for you and the communities. So with that, I have to say that SBA is celebrating 70 years anniversary this year. Actually, this month, we're completing our 70-year anniversary, making sure you have the resources to succeed in your business by starting, growing, expanding, exporting, or recovering. So I want to recognize Yvonne Negron, one of our research partners, which is here, the Puerto Rico Small Business Technology and Development Center. Over 26 years of partnership with the Inter-American University and the Small Business Administration. We have the Women Business Centers. I don't know if they're in the room because I don't see them, but they're gonna be in the panel. Our SBA table is gonna be in the panel as well, in the panel. We provide access to capital. We provide certification through the great partnership we have with the MBDA and the Department of Economic Development and Commerce. So you get certified so you can start getting contracts or providing services to the federal government. Last year, we provided over $1.4 billion in federal contracts in Puerto Rico, and that's a significant increase from previous fiscal year. That's the work is getting done, not words results. And actually, our agency provides resources for business planning, strategy. We help businesses export. Have you seen Secretary Isidre talk about the mission in Panama, the mission in Mexico, Dominican Republic, Spain, many other places he had been? That's thanks to SBA. We fund the mission, the trade missions worldwide, and we have the support of our export or trade center at the small business development centers. We also provide regular access to capital for working capital and to build your facility, to buy your machinery equipment. We have great resources here from the lender community at Popular, First Bank Oriental, the cooperativas, but also we have nonprofit partners that provide microloans at very competitive terms and also provide you loan guarantees through our programs to safeguard your business when you need it the most. So SBA is an agency that is not only for you, but has been always here when you need it the most, during the hurricanes, during the earthquakes, during the pandemic, during Fiona, and we will be there for you all the way. So thank you.
Gracias, Josue. Joann, so I want to kind of take a step down and really help folks understand what do the programs look like? What is the kind of assistance that you're supporting with looking like? What's the capital readiness program, for example?
Absolutely. So the Capital Readiness Program is designed to do three things. Number one, help businesses that are wanting to become capital ready. We know that access to capital is the number one impediment for small and minority-owned businesses, and I know Josue can attest to that, being at SBA. Helping them to build capacity. Number two, helping them to engage in the right kind of networks. And number three, helping them to secure access to capital. Now, it has a two-pronged approach. One of those is incubator, the other is an accelerator. The incubator side is for those newer business owners, those who might be looking for microfinancing or smaller business loans. The SBA has been a long-standing great partner to MBDA. We would have them partnering, we will have them maybe go to SBA to secure some of that financing. On the accelerator side of the equation, that's for the more sophisticated businesses. So you have those businesses who are beyond startup. Let's say they've been in business for at least 3 to 5 years, and they might be looking for venture capital. They might be looking for private equity. They might be looking for accounts receivable financing or some other type of purchase order financing. That's what the Capital Readiness Program is designed to do. And it is a huge program. We funded 43 centers, 43 of those. That's a partnership, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge, that MBDA has with the U.S. Department of Treasury, where they granted us $125 million to stand up 43 of those. And I'm so very proud that we have one here on the island of Puerto Rico.
And by the way, I had a chance to go with Joann and in the panel, and there are a couple of resources there. I don't know if you want to give a shout out to any of those folks so that folks can go and visit them.
Sure. So as I was perusing the exhibit area, I saw several other partners that are here that are part of the MBDA portfolio of investments. Operation Hope. That's an affiliate of our Enterprising Women of Color initiative. We have one in Atlanta. They are akin to our focus on helping women-owned businesses. There's also the Community Development Venture Capital Alliance. And that is the triple bottom line investment arm of investors. CDVCA Kerwin Tisdale, just like the Product Association of Puerto Rico, they've been partners of ours for many years. They're also here. But I will be selfish. MBDA has our exhibit booth. We have two. We have our business center. I believe it's Javier, Teresa. That's there. Teresa, stand up so they can see who you are. She's been with us for many years. I won't tell you how many years, but give her a big shout out. She's amazing. They generated millions and millions of dollars for Puerto Rico firms here over the years. And then Sandra, are you here? There she is. Sandra is at the Universidad del Sagrado. Yes, she is leading that initiative along with her program director, I believe is here as well. There they are.
Eso.
Yes. Reading the future of entrepreneurship here on the island, as well as helping them to secure financing. Big wins.
I love it. Josue, a little bit back to you, since there's a lot of interrelatedness with some of the programs there, but can you talk a little bit more about the SBA Access to Capital programs?
Well, our Access to Capital program have three components within the Office of Capital Access. We have the 504 program, which provide capital up to $5 million to buy your equipment, your machinery, you buy property, develop property for commercial purposes, not for housing, not in residential zone. We're not into that business of housing. That's rural development and the Department of Housing. We are in the commercial side of the house. So making sure if you took a 504 loan, you can get up to 90% finance. You have to create jobs, not Mickey Mouse company. You have to create jobs and support the economy of that community. We have the 7A, which is a guarantee. The good thing of the 504 is you work with the Community Development Corporation, you work with a lender, so you have a partnership up to 90% in some cases. If new business, it could change. Independent on the business, it could change also. But you can get up to 90% finance, loan to value, and you just put 10% down, which is significant for a small business because it doesn't ruin your cash flow. On your 7A, you have a working capital loan. You can buy a business with a 7A. You can expand a business. You can export with a 7A loan. But it's a loan that you can get directly through your lender, through your bank, through your credit union, primarily for working capital, buying a key for an established business. You know the el primo que tiene la panadería. The owner of the bakery. You bought he's retiring. You bought the key of that business through a 7A loan, for instances. And you have the micro loans at very competitive rates now. We partner with nonprofits such as Pastone, such as Latino Economic Development, and many others, COFEC, for instances, to provide up to $50,000 loans, micro loans for small businesses. Very competitive rates with this market interest rates, which are extremely high. I have to be honest about it. And we provide direct lending when there's a presidential declaration. We did during the different disasters. We provide very competitive rates directly. We're talking from 1.85 to 3.04% interest rate, 30-year term or 25-year term, depending on the loan. It could be from economic losses or for physical damages. And we support residents, they need home repairs, or businesses that have economic damages in their companies. So it depends on what you need and the moments that we're addressing at the time. If there's a crisis, of course, SBA become the largest bank of the United States to provide access to capital. We did it during the pandemic, providing over $1 trillion in capital nationwide. But also our regular programs through the 504, 7A, microloans, and many others, specifically technical assistance, which is key to get access to capital. You can knock the doors of the bank or the credit union, but if you don't have a business plan, or if you don't have a finance plan to get that loan. You could get in a very messy process. You will call it bureaucratic because you don't know this process. You know, it's very specific, very specialized. But our research partners provide you free consultation, technical assistance, so you can get that loan. And they'll prepare your projections. They look at your taxes. They look at your financial statement. They help you build the narrative for the commercial institution, for the financial institution. So we're here to help, and that's basically our marquee programs, or our bread and butter in SBA, the access to a couple of programs. But I want them to know, I want you all to know that SBA also can help you getting contracts, getting access to the rest of the world in terms of exporting your services, but more importantly, we provide free technical assistance. We have a group of CPAs, attorneys, business consultants that can help your business succeed.
Awesome. And remember, I mean, if you're looking to scale, one sure path to that is being able to sell to the federal government. So,
But also through our Thrive program. I don't know if you have heard, we have a Thrive program, which is a cohort. We have over 21 participants. I believe 21 is the number of participants in Aguadilla, and 22 in the metro cohort. Actually, it's ranked number 2 in SBA nationwide, our cohort in the metro area. So participants are getting 100% grades in their course. They're in Model 3, which is pretty significant for Puerto Rico as an accomplishment. It shows not the agency, but the entrepreneurs that are taking these classes that are doing significantly well in compared to the rest of the country. So we have Thrive cohorts. The majority of the participants that went to this program is specialized. You need to have 250,000 in sales, over 2 years of experience. So if you're not in that point yet, you look at it as an objective in your business plan. In the next 3 years, I want to be part of the Thrive cohort of SBA, which is formerly known as Emerging Leaders. Participants, on average, get 30% sales increase after participating in this program, and it's a great avenue for you to expand and grow your business.
yep.
And it's free.
Yeah. And again, a lot of the resources, as you're kind of preparing for that long term, to think about how do you become a minority-owned business, how do you get the right certifications so that you can be competitive in that market. These are the folks to help you out with that. So Max, I want to also help bring it down a little bit. Can you give us an example of what it looks like to be successful in applying to some of the funds in your agency, and if you have any specific examples of organizations in Puerto Rico that you want to call out?
Well, in terms of successes, I just said 31 organizations and businesses got $6 million of grants today. So, no, I want to also add that on the Rural Business Development Grant that I just mentioned also, yesterday we announced over $300,000 to 3 entities. Do you want an example? I'm going to mention Primex. Primex was one of these rural business development grants that received an award yesterday, and they will be helping small businesses with some of the things that Josue was mentioning. Technical assistance, how to do things, how to write different proposals. These are part of the technical assistance that they do. But rural development has overall, and this week, and Josue has heard me already because we have been coinciding in several events this week, but this week is still, because I have events throughout the week still, until Saturday, Puerto Rico Rural Development Week. We are reintroducing our agency to Puerto Rico. As I mentioned, we do housing, but we do business and we do infrastructure. And throughout this week, we've been announcing different things that are concrete, impacting people right away. So for example, on infrastructure, we announced $4 million on water projects at the community level, at the most basic community level, helping communities that organize themselves so they could apply for funding and help their water systems in their communities. We started off the week with housing, and I know that you're probably saying, well, housing, what does that have to do with economic development? Everything. Without a home, there are no businesses around. If there's no businesses around, there's no economy. If there's no economy, people move out of their town to other places. And people who live here in the mountain regions can probably say that their towns are missing people. There are people who have moved away because there's no homes available, new homes for them to be. I don't know how many of you, because I certainly was one, that work from home. But if you don't have a home, then you cannot work. So we announced on Monday an increase on eligibility for people to apply directly to USDA rural development. Throughout the years, the income eligibility changed according to the municipality. So it could be as low as $19,000 and as high as $27,000, which meant that if you were $1 over that amount, you couldn't qualify for a mortgage with us. On Monday, we announced that the new limit is $39,550 for the entire island, rural areas, and that's huge. That's an increase of $20,000 for many people, and if you have a home, you can build your own business, and then you can go to Josue and ask for an SBA loan, and then you can expand, and then you go to MDA and say, I want to export my products. We are all interconnected. And I want people to also see how you are all interconnected in different stages in the economic progress. We all want Puerto Rico to improve its economy, but we, at least from my perspective, we need to start in the rural areas because it is the rural areas who are the backbone of the island. If the rural areas are doing well, then Puerto Rico overall is doing well. So that's what we're doing.
Very important. And I think to emphasize that interconnectedness, maybe you're sitting here and saying, well, there's not really any programs that I could use. These organizations are trying to help you understand that there are resources to strengthen your business. And there's gonna be dollars to access different opportunities across different programs. But these are your folks that can help you navigate that. What does it look like? I mean, everybody's talking about the $120 billion that is coming to the island. How is that gonna be spent? Your starting point is to have a strong business so that you can align to those funds, so that you can sell to the folks that now are gonna have households and are gonna grow their own personal finances, et cetera, et cetera. That multiplying effect is going to help your business grow. So I'm gonna say really quickly, if you each have one thing that you wanna just call out, and then we're gonna open for questions. We have about 7 minutes. If you do have a question, start raising your hand so that our folks know to bring the microphone to you. So anything that we're missing, go ahead, Joann.
Sure. I would like to just acknowledge that our agency will be launching a rural business initiative. Teresa, there she is again, I'm sure is going to be receiving those funds. That's slated to be launched very soon, complementing the work that Max is talking about with regard to rural business development. The more, the merrier, right? Number two is I would also like to acknowledge that our sister agency, the International Trade Administration, Jose Torres, I don't know if Jose is here. Yes.
Jose Burgos.
Yes. He is our director for the island of Puerto Rico. I was with him just a couple of weeks ago or so over at USVI, but let us know how we can help. Teresa has also served as an export center at one point for MBDA, complementing the work that ITA does, as well as our disaster recovery center. Anytime there's a disaster here on the island, she's been the go-to person for us, and so look to us. We also provide technical assistance, putting together loan packages for you, hand-holding, facilitation of teaming and joint venture agreements so that when you go to the SBA to get those loans, we do a lot of that as well at our business center here on the island. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we'll jump right into questions. I know we have
Hi, my name is Esteban. I founded PR back in 2018 when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. My company focuses on bringing internet to folks that usually don't have good services using LTE and 5G networks. I'm at a point where I need to grow the company and I want to export into the United States. But I don't know how to navigate the departments to actually get either the funding or the grants to better serve the communities because I'm at a point where I need to open a legal department or I need to open human resources. I do have an SBA loan which I used back in 2018 and it really helped me reach those folks that needed it first, but I can't do it alone anymore. And that's where I'm asking which department should I focus on to expand my current position and better serve my community and eventually the United States.
I think I have to respond to that question. So thank you for the question, and very important. So let's look at your business plan. Let's sit down with the Small Business Development Center. I think you can look to different federal agencies that can help you navigate, such as the NTIA at the Department of Commerce. I think Joann can
The National Telecommunications and Information Administration has a lot of grants out there right now, millions, and they're looking for companies like you.
And when I was in USDA, we launched Reconnect. I think Max can talk about that program as well for the perspective of broadband and opportunities for businesses. Right, Max?
The Reconnect program, which has different windows of opportunities to apply, in Puerto Rico was awarded $8 million for a company that is precisely bringing broadband to the town of Patillas. And the key part of Reconnect is that it works for the people who have no access. It's not that, oh, I have 4G and 5G, and no. It's for people who actually have nothing. And that's what these programs are for, to bring the technology, broadband speeds like you have in San Juan to the rural areas that have it the least or none at all.
But it's very important that you get certified as a business through the MBDA can help you with it, or we can help you at SB as well. So you get certified through sam.gov, right?
SAMS. Talk about SAMS.
I know. That's what I'm doing. So the SAMS.gov, and you can get certified as well as a economically disadvantaged business. So we can get you started with that certification, and you can
Teresa,
start
we
getting
can
contracts.
help you as well with the certifications. That's one of the things we've specialized in over the years, is helping companies like yourself to get the requisite criteria met for a given contract that you're bidding on, and we love doing that.
I think the point is more conversations to come, and I do want to say that another resource of going to the different centers that are supported by these folks is that you also get to access partnerships with other primes that may be involved in selling in that space.
Correct.
I think there could be a question of what is SAM? It's like Uncle Sam, right? But it's a system for award management. That's right. SAM.
We have 2 minutes. Any other questions?
I see my technical partner already reaching
yes.
out. Good.
Let's see. Who has?
I have the microphone. I was
Andreika
just testing.
has the microphone?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, last one.
Hello. Thanks for your discussion. My name is Osvaldo Rivera. I'm a molecular biologist. I have a PhD from University of Pennsylvania, and I worked in the industry in San Diego, California, biotech industry. I focus on genomics and big data analysis, and I recently came back here to Puerto Rico, and I'm building a company called Genus LLC, and the idea is to help biolabs analyze big data. And I feel that there's a big need for that, especially since most labs are just, pumping out experiments, and they don't really have the capacity to really churn out a lot of their data. And I already have my first clients. Good. Small contract, but the idea is that, I'm helping them kind of really make the most out of their data and crunch things out. So I already applied to an SBIR, sadly got declined, because, I'm more of on the service side. It's less of a, a product innovation at this point. So I'm wondering what opportunities out there for like non-dilutive funding that are able to support sort of like a service side business. I'm also now kind of shifting towards maybe building sort of like a marketplace for connecting the biolabs with groups of bioinformaticians that I have. So yeah, just wondering what sort of incentives are out there for such a niche industry, but pretty, at least where I work, it's pretty big industry, right? I've worked in biotech hubs, so several $1 billion worth of money churning around. Thank you.
What's your name again?
Osvaldo Rivera.
Osvaldo, thank you for believing in Puerto Rico and coming back to the island. Thank you.
Yes.
First. So, Osvaldo, so for everybody, the Small Business Innovation Research is a program that SBA promote, but it's really managed by 14 federal agencies. Specifically, we have a big partnership with Commerce, Environmental Protection Agency, USDA, so on, so NIH, HHS, many others. So for everyone to understand what is the SBIR, our Small Business Development Technology Center have a program called Puerto Rico IDEA. Puerto Rico IDEA is a grant of SBA called the Federal State Technical Assistance Partnership, FAST, that can provide you technical assistance through the difficult process of getting an SBIR or STTR, grant. So that program have 3 different stages. So just for everybody to understand this, they provide you seed funding up to $150,000 if my memory recalls correct, right, Yvonne? In the first stage, if you win through a very competitive process, you have the top universities competing against these funds. The federal government put together up to $4 billion in seed funding for ideas, more into the innovative part, wheelhouse, part of the house or the IP for the federal agencies, and specifically solutions for the federal agencies. And have to be specific needs that the federal agencies have. For example, climate change, refuel, energy sources, innovative defense strategies for DoD, many others. So let's sit down with you, Osvaldo, with Yvonne and our team at the Puerto Rico BTDC, so we can help you navigate other opportunities that you may have, okay?
So I want to just offer up, if anybody has additional questions, our speakers are going to be around for a little bit, but we are flashing that we're done. And I know it's almost lunchtime, so thank you again to our speakers, and thank you all for being here.
Muchas gracias y buen provecho.
Gracias.